Anna, a 15-year-old girl with long, straight brown hair, lived a life dictated by rules. Her parents were strict and their expectations of her were high. They believed in discipline and maintaining control, and they expected Anna to follow their every command without question. Anna excelled in her studies, and she was always the obedient daughter they wanted her to be. But there was something they didn't know. Anna had a secret. At school, Anna met a boy, a classmate with whom she shared fleeting glances and whispered conversations in the hallways. This boy became her secret boyfriend, the one person who made her feel free from the confines of her strict household. For Anna, these moments were the highlight of her day. She lived in a constant state of fear, knowing that if her parents ever found out about her relationship, the consequences would be severe. Anna's parents had always made it clear. Love, relationships, and even the smallest flirtations were forbidden. They believed it was a distraction, something that would ruin her future. They were so adamant about this that they threatened to shave Anna's head if they ever caught her in a romantic entanglement. One day after school, Anna arrived home feeling a mix of excitement and fear. She had just spent some time with her boyfriend, and although it was thrilling, she couldn't shake the anxiety that her parents might somehow find out. As soon as she stepped inside, the atmosphere in the house felt different. Her parents were waiting for her in the living room, their faces stern. Her mother spoke first, her voice cold and unyielding. "How was your day?" her mother asked, her tone giving nothing away. "It was fine," Anna replied, feeling uneasy. She could sense something was off, but she couldn't quite place it. "And school? Did anything interesting happen today?" Her father chimed in, his eyes watching her closely. "Not really, just the usual," Anna answered, trying to sound casual. Her heart began to race as the tension in the room grew. "Is there anything you'd like to tell us?" her mother pressed, her gaze narrowing. Anna hesitated for a moment, then shook her head. "No, nothing at all." "Why are you asking me all these questions?" Her father leaned forward, his expression hardening. "Do you have a boyfriend?" Anna's breath caught in her throat. She quickly shook her head again. "No, I don't." "Why would you even think that?" Her mother, still staring at her, pulled out her phone and tapped on the screen a few times. Then she turned the phone toward Anna. "Then explain this," she said coldly. Anna's eyes widened in shock as she saw the photo on the screen. It was a picture of her and her boyfriend, caught in a moment of intimacy, kissing. She felt like the ground was falling out from under her. "Where did you get that?" Anna whispered, her voice barely audible. "Does it matter?" Her father snapped. "You lied to us, Anna. After everything we've told you, you went behind our backs. How could you do this?" Tears welled up in Anna's eyes, but she tried to hold them back. "I'm sorry," she stammered. "I didn't mean to. I love him." Her mother crossed her arms, her face a mask of anger and disappointment. "We told you what would happen if you ever disobeyed us. We warned you, Anna. Please." "I won't see him again," Anna pleaded, her voice breaking. "Just don't do anything rash. I made a mistake, but I promise I won't do it again." But her father's face remained stony. "A promise isn't enough. You need to understand that there are consequences for your actions." Anna's mother put her phone down and stepped closer to her daughter. "Sit down," she ordered, pointing to the chair in the middle of the room. Anna shook her head, backing away. "No, please, you can't do this. I'll do anything you want, just don't." But her father was already on his feet, grabbing her by the arm and forcing her into the chair. "This is for your own good, Anna. You need to learn." Anna struggled against him, tears streaming down her face. No, please don't cut my hair. I promise I'll be good. Just don't. Her mother was already behind her, pulling her long brown hair into a tight ponytail. This is what happens when you disobey us, she said, her voice cold and unwavering. Anna felt the cold metal of the scissors against her neck as her mother cut through the thick strands of hair. The sound was deafening to her ears, each snip like a blow to her spirit. Please stop. I'm sorry. Anna cried out, but her mother continued, determined to follow through with the punishment. When the ponytail was finally cut off, her mother threw it aside and picked up the clippers. The buzzing sound filled the room as she turned them on. Even if you cry and throw a tantrum, the decision has already been made, her father said sternly, holding her shoulders down. Anna sobbed as the clippers shaved the rest of her hair off, leaving her scalp bare. She couldn't recognize herself anymore, couldn't believe what had just happened. When it was over, her mother turned off the clippers and stood back, looking at her daughter with a mixture of sadness and resolve. This is the price of your disobedience, she said quietly. Anna sat there in the chair, numb and devastated. She didn't say another word as she stood up and ran out of the house, desperate to get away from the people who had caused her so much pain. Anna ran to her boyfriend's house, her heart pounding in her chest. She knocked on the door, her tears still streaming down her face. When he opened the door and saw her, his expression turned to one of shock and concern. Anna, what happened? He asked, pulling her inside. They found out, Anna said through her sobs. They shaved my head. I look awful. He looked at her, his eyes filled with sadness and anger at what her parents had done. You don't look awful, Anna. You're still beautiful to me. But my hair... It's gone, Anna whispered, touching her bald scalp. I don't even recognize myself. He hugged her tightly, his voice gentle but firm. Your hair doesn't change who you are. You're still the same person I fell in love with. We'll get through this together. Anna looked up at him, her tears finally slowing. You still want to be with me? Even after all this? Of course, he said, kissing her forehead. Nothing could ever make me stop loving you. Anna felt a glimmer of hope as she leaned into his embrace. Despite everything, she knew she wasn't alone. Back at home, the tension between her parents was palpable. Her father, filled with regret, began to lash out at her mother, blaming her for the drastic decision. This is your fault, he yelled. You insisted on this punishment, and now our daughter is gone. Her mother, just as distraught, tried to defend herself. I didn't want to do it, but we had to show her there are consequences. Now she hates us both. In his anger and guilt, her father grabbed the clippers and turned them on, walking toward her mother with a look of cold determination. If she's going to hate us, then you'll know exactly how she feels. Her mother gasped as he shaved her hair down to her scalp, tears streaming down her face as she realized the gravity of what they had done. She sat there. The house fell into an uneasy silence. Both parents lost in their own guilt and sorrow. When Anna returned home, her mother was the first to approach her, her eyes filled with regret. Anna. I'm so sorry, her mother said, her voice trembling. We were wrong. I was wrong. I never should have done that to you. Anna stood there, her hands still on her shaved head. She looked at her mother, who now looked just like her, and felt a mix of anger and pity. Without a word, Anna walked over and hugged her mother tightly, both of them crying as they held each other. Her father soon joined them, his voice filled with remorse. I'm sorry, Anna. I thought I was protecting you, but I only hurt you. Can you ever forgive us? Anna looked at her father, her heart aching. I don't know if I can forget, but I want to try to forgive.